Alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another episode of the end of time that we're doing in this channel. We talk about the Dajjal coming of the Mahdi, Ya'juj and Ma'juj, the Qiyamah. So, if you're someone who is interested in these topics, and also we talk about the recent issues in the Muslim world, if you're someone who is interested to keep in touch with the news and with the Quran and Sunnah, definitely feel free or consider subscribing to the channel because we'll be talking a lot about these topics in the coming days. Things are getting a little bit, sneezy, and I don't know how to say it, but what happened just a day ago is a little bit uncomfortable for the Muslims to, and very hard for many Muslims to actually digest the information. But today, inshallah, I'll be talking about this particular topic, in light of the Quran and Sunnah. Few things that I really have, that I really want to share with you. I have this information and this the Quran and Sunnah that are very, very relevant to this event that took place when Bahrain, I know. And as you know, the Bahrain, they actually also are now trying to normalize their diplomatic ties with Israel. And this is exactly what UAE did a week ago or a few days ago. So, dear sisters, the question is, what we understand, what should we do? And is this something that the Muslims can't help? Is this something, if we had a prophet, for example, right now with us, would Muslims still be incapable of doing it, of defending Al-Quds? If we had a prophet, if we had somebody sent from Allah Azza wa Jal, what would be the situation? And when the soldier of Allah will come, when the victory of the Muslims will come. So inshallah, I'll talk about those things very, in light of the Quran and Sunnah. Rasulullah SAW, he actually woke up one day, and this is what the situation of the Arabs will be. The Prophet SAW, and this hadith was reported in Sahih al-Bukhari, narrated by Zainab bint Jahash. She said the Prophet SAW, he got up from his sleep and he with a flushed red face and said, "Why la ilaha illallah, nobody is worthy of worship than Allah." And then he said, "Wailul lil Arab." Remember this word, "Wailul lil Arab." And then he said, "Min sharra qad tarab." Okay, he said, "Wailul lil Arab min sharra qad tarab." What does it mean? He woke up from the sleep and he had this expression on his face, and what he said is that the Arab, while here basically means something very, very, when you feel very pity on someone, like somebody who is really, really miserable, that's when you use the word while. Allah Azza wa Jal has used this word in the Quran. For example, in Surah Al-Anbiya, when the people will be touched by the fire, they will say, "Inna kunna mina zalimin," that we were "Inna kunna zalimin," that we were among those who were zalimun, who were wrongdoers. Wailul inna kunna zalimin, that we owe to us. I mean, they are showing this pity, this regret through this word while, that we are so miserable today that Allah Azza wa Jal has put us in this hellfire. We are touched by hellfire, and they are saying that we were zalimun. So this word, this expression is for someone who is completely miserable. You're showing, a pity, and you're showing, really a lot of you can't really be empathetic with them, right? You cannot even show them any empathy because these people are responsible for their own demise. So the Prophet ﷺ said, the Arab, wailul lil Arab, look at the Arab, oh to the Arab, what, and a great evil is approaching them and they have no idea what is happening. So the Arab, they have gone, like they're gone, like they are completely not in the game at all right now. Arabs, UAE, Bahrain now, and many other you'll see Arabian countries, they will just give up on Al-Quds, because this is what was, what we can see is happening right now, and it is something not surprising, to be honest with you. It is something that was coming, and we know that many other Arab countries, they'll follow through what Bahrain did. Also, as I mentioned in the beginning, if we had a prophet like Musa alayhi salam, when he tried to enter the Holy Land, you know what they said? The people of Bani Israel, they said, "Fadhhab anta wa rabbuka faqatil innaha hahuna qaidun." That you go and your Lord go and fight them. We are gonna sit here. The excuse they had, these people, is because the city, the people in the city, they were very powerful. They are very strong. So they said, "Oh Musa, we're not gonna go. Lan dakhala abada. We're not gonna enter in the city at all ever." He said, "They said ever." Because they see themselves weak. They see themselves, we cannot go and conquer that place, right? The Holy Land. Exactly the same situation with the Muslims. The Arabs right now, what they're doing, we cannot match with these countries. We do not have same technology. We are backwarded. We are not powerful. We do not have, machineries. We, weapons. So we are weak. We cannot ever think of going into Al-Quds and regain that land. I have few comments from Amin Yusuf and Mansin. Inshallah, we'll talk about your questions soon, your comments. So the people, they said to Musa alayhi salam, we are weak. And this is exactly, dear my sisters, happening. That the Arabs, they're saying, we are weak. We cannot help ourselves, let alone go and free Quds. So we see that, dear my sisters, that Bahrain, they have normalized their diplomatic ties with this people, with the Yahud. Now this is what it says. I'm going to read you a few things. Bahrain has joined the United Arab Emirates in agreeing to normalize relations with Israel in a U.S. broker deal that Palestinian leaders denounced as another treacherous stab to the Palestinian cause. Okay, another treacherous stab. This is what Palestine is saying, that we are not even involved in your treaty. We are not at war with anybody. Palestine cannot afford to fight with anybody. They are so broken right now. And if there is no war, how can there be any peace treaty? This is ridiculous as it can go. This is so ridiculous. Like, there is no war. You make peace treaty when you have war. There is no war. It's oppression. It's Zoom. It's a Zoom that is taking place right now. And other countries, in the Arabian Peninsula, they're coming out and saying that, you know what, let's make peace deal. Let's let's sell Al-Quds. This is becoming a big problem for us. Dear brothers and sisters, when this kind of things happen, and remember that Allah Azza wa Jal will send His soldier, because this land, Al-Quds, it belongs to Allah Azza wa Jal. It's a holy land, and Allah will protect it. Just like Kaaba, when Abraha, he sent his army, he marched with his army and he went to attack the Kaaba. What Abdul Muttalib did? Abdul Muttalib said, this is the place of Allah and He will protect it. What Allah did? Allah sent the birds, the ababil, right? Exactly same thing will happen, inshallah. Allah will send His soldiers. Allah will send it, because this land belongs to Allah. This is a beloved place to Allah Azza wa Jal. He honored His last prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam through this land when He led all the Anbiya behind Him for prayer. It is a symbolic statement to make that the Muslims should have upper hand on this land, because the Muslims are the true followers of Allah Azza wa Jal. So when you see people are coming and taking over Muslim lands, especially Holy Land, the land that belongs and dearer to Allah Azza wa Jal, you will see Allah Azza wa Jal will send His soldiers, just like He sent Abraha the birds ababil, inshallah. This is what we can expect, and this is what will be happening in the future. We do not know what kind of soldier Allah will send, but this is something, Allah's house, this is Allah's place. This is where Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, was lifted up in the heaven, in the sky, alive. So He will protect. Allah Azza wa Jal will protect this land. But again, if you look back at the history, you will see that the betrayal, it happened with the people of Bani Israel. The people of Bani Israel, they were reminded by Musa alayhi salam, "Wazkur ni'mata." They remember the ni'mah of Allah Azza wa Jal, and yet they said, "Fadhhab anta wa rabbuka faqatil inna hahuna qaidun." You go, you and Musa, you and your Lord go. We are not going to go anywhere. See the tragedy, that the betrayal of the people of the Bani Israel, it's so blatant. It is even much more blatant than what the Arabs are doing right now, because they had a prophet. They saw the miracle of the splitting of the sea, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about this, that that they have seen that Pharaoh was drowned in the ocean, yet they come out from that trial, that test, saying that you, Musa, go and we're not going to follow you. So the betrayal, this kind of treachery, is not something new. It's happened in the past, and Muslims, nevertheless, they were able to conquer lands. And even with Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, when he conquered Jerusalem, nobody thought he would be able to do that. Everybody was doubting his mission. A lot of these pundits, they were doubting that, Salahuddin, what are you going to do? You cannot go yourself and liberate. And a lot of people opposed him, right? But nevertheless, Allah Azza wa Jal gave him victory. So it doesn't really have to be that the whole ummah of the Muslim ummah need to be united to liberate the place, the Al-Quds. It can be just one man, just one person, or just a bunch of birds can do the job for Allah. We do not know how Allah will do it, but we know He will do it. This land belongs to Him. And dear sisters, what is very unfortunate is that right now we are seeing that, in the temple, in the tomb, they are now setting up loudspeakers to compete with the Muslim adhan in Al-Quds. In other words, they're trying to suppress the Muslims from proclaiming their faith, from letting everybody know their religion. I mean, there are a lot of tourists, a lot of visitors go there, so they want their voices to be heard louder than the voice of adhan. Can you believe it? And this happened only a few days ago, I think yesterday, in fact. In other words, this is a place of dhulm. This is a place of dhulm. There's no justice. There's no adl in that place. It's all about them. It's never about the Muslims. When Muslims deserve this place more than anybody else, they are saying, no, you get out. The only thing they are not doing is kicking them all out. Even though they're doing it, we are not seeing it on the media all the time. But the point here is that they're not doing it like completely. If they could, they would have just gotten rid of all the Muslims and say, like, this land belongs to the Yahud and nobody else. That's what they will be doing in the future. Not maybe now, but they will be doing in the future. Donald Trump, the president of the US, announced the deal on Twitter Friday after he spoke by phone to Bahrain's King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and Netanyahu. This is truly a historic date, Trump, he said. He believed the other countries will follow suit. Of course, he knows it. He will be re-elected in November. There's no doubt about that. Okay, there's no doubt. I mean, I'm convinced that he will come back to power. He will be winning a re-election in November for another 4 years. And during that 4 years term, Allahu Alam what he will do. He will change the whole map of the Middle East. Well, trust me, he will change everything. Right now he's saying that Jerusalem belongs to the Yahud. I mean, he will give maybe some other countries to the Yahud and say that, take it, you have it, it's for grab. SubhanAllah, this is ridiculous. The way things are going and how the Muslims are reacting is just crazy. It's just crazy. But again, something we cannot do right now anything about. This whole drama that is unfolding with his new decisions, coming up with new policies and trying to strike a peace deal. These things are just going crazy. So, but again, dear brothers and sisters, the good news is that Allah Azza wa Jal, I mentioned this ayat from the Quran in the past. Allah says that I will not let the believers in that state where they are helpless hatta yamiz al-khabisa min at-tayyib, until I separate between the khabis and the good. And so Allah Azza wa Jal, and as I said, that Al-Quds is a test for the believers. It's a test for the Muslims. Every generation, every time there is a test for people. During the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the test was to spread the message of Islam. Okay, and they faced a lot of challenges because of that, because it was a test that you have to not only be a believer but also proclaim your faith and make it public and expand Islam and let everybody know the message of Islam. That was a big test for them. Our test this time, one of the biggest tests, is Al-Quds, that Allah Azza wa Jal has given the guardianship of this land to the Muslims. Allah is saying and He's observing how we will react. Are we going to be on the wrong side of the history, as they said, or are we going to be people who will be making dua to Allah Azza wa Jal, asking Him that, oh Allah, we have wronged ourselves. رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا وَإِن لَّمْ تَغْفِرْ لَنَا وَتَرْحَمْنَا لَنَكُونَ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. We have, just like Adam alayhi salam said, we have made a mistake. Forgive us, have mercy and rahmah on us. This is our attitude. This is what we have to do. And if we go and say, well, if Bahrain went ahead and sold out um, the Al-Quds, if UAE did that, then maybe it's something good for the Ummah. If we have that attitude, if we are being desensitized to that, then Allah will hold us accountable, and that will be our biggest failure. It is not a failure that the land now is belong to the Yahud. That is not something Allah will hold us accountable individually. On the day of judgment, He will not say, oh, you why did you not go and liberate the land? Because we cannot. We are a human being. We are just one. We are weak. That's true. Individually weak. But Allah will hold you accountable if you say, well, Bahrain did it, UAE did it, I'm going to support them. And I'm going to forget about Al-Quds. That's when Allah will hold you accountable. So don't be on the wrong side of the book. When the book will be given, the people will regret that their book was given in the left hand. So make sure you have this right attitude towards this whole thing, and always believe that Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who has power, who has the ultimate power and authority, and He gives land whomever He wills. Few things that I want to share with you from the news. It says that a month ago, the UAE agreed to normalize ties with Israel under a US broker deal scheduled to be signed at a White House ceremony on Tuesday, hosted by Trump, who is seeking re-election November 3rd. Of course, this is an election victory for Trump as well in the States. He's going to be going out and flaunting about it, that, hey, look, I have done, and he is actually being nominated as a Nobel Peace Prize winner. He's been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, and looks like he will win that as well. Amin Yusuf, assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. In the and will be Arab Khalifa Muhammad, kings of the world, Art Breeze. I mean, what's the reference for what the verse regarding Musa al-Islam, children of Israel, about going into Holy Land? This ayat, I believe, is Surah Al-Ma'idah. You can check ayat number 24. They said, "O Musa, we shall never enter it," means the Holy Land, as long as they are there. And it says, so go, فَاذْهَبْ أَنْتَ وَرَبُّكَ فَقَاتِلْ إِنَّا هَاهُنَا قَاعِدُونَ. So go, you and your Lord go, and we are sitting here. The exact same attitude of the Arabs today. And Rasulullah, he said, "Wailul lil Arab." This was an expression of pity to the Arabs, that evil is approaching them, a great evil is approaching them, and these people have no idea what is going on. And dear sisters, if you have any more comment, please leave a comment, inshallah, in the comment section below. I'll see you soon again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.